I have a few really great tips on how you can get around the new Starlink data caps. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for once again joining me for tea time. Today we have a little bit of fireside. That smokiness of the lap sun, guys, so good, so good. I hope you're joining me with your cup of tea, maybe a cup of coffee, hanging out, talking tech, talking photo, talking video. Today is a tech day. We're going to be talking about video a lot, but it is a tech day. Today we're going to be talking about how to get around the Starlink data caps. I'm going to give you a bunch of tips on how to do this, and I'm going to list these tips in an order of possible data usage, or as I call it, data bleed. A lot of the devices that you currently have in your home, maybe even office, are bleeding data all day, every day, and you just don't know it. A lot of people have came to me and said, listen, what do we do? How do we know if we're using a lot of data, if we're not? Of course, you can go to the Starlink app and check it out there, but what is everything doing? Right? And which ones are using the most data? And how do we stop this from happening? How do we stop the bleed, so to speak? That's what we're going to get into today. I'm going to give you a bunch of tips, and I think you're going to learn something from this. Now, this video is going to be a little bit longer than normal because there's a lot of tips. There's a lot of tricks here. There's a lot of information. All right. And if you find this information at all useful, don't forget, throw this video a thumbs up. That'll be very helpful. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel as of yet, please do so. Subscribe and click this little bell icon over here so when I go live or when a new video comes out, you will be notified of it immediately. Also, if you haven't downloaded any of my ebooks as of yet, go check them out. Go over to JCristina.com/books. Once again, JCristina.com/books. They are free just for you being here. Go check those out. Before I go any further, I want to say that if you want more Starlink coverage, go check out my Starlink playlist. There's a whole bunch of helpful how-tos, tips, tricks, commentary. There is what to buy, what not to buy, why you should buy it or not buy it. There's a lot of great videos over there, about 90, I think, so far. So once again, check out my Starlink playlist when you're done watching this video. So let's dive right into it. Number one would be video chat apps. Now, video chatting is a big thing. It doesn't matter if it's Skype or if it's Facebook or FaceTime or whatever. Video. The more video you're using, the more data you're using because video takes a lot of data, period. Especially when you're going back and forth and you're online with someone for a long period of time, the amount of data that is used is really determined by the quality of the signal that you're sending out. So if you're using your phone and you're sending to the person that you are communicating with 720p in comparison to 1080 or 4K, there's going to be a different amount of data usage. The solution to this problem is to try to stay on the lower end. Instead of sending your client or sending your family member 4K video of you while you're talking to them, back it down to 1080p. If not, even lower, 720p will be more than sufficient. 720p on a small phone looks fantastic, and they're not going to be asking you why you look so bad. So 720p when possible. That would be my suggestion to you. Now, the next thing is music streaming services. Music does take data, but it's not that much. Let's say you're using Spotify or you're using Pandora or SoundCloud or something like that. They use bandwidth, but audio doesn't use a lot. Video is what uses the most. So why is this even in the list? Well, it's not about the music that you're listening to. It's about the advertising that Spotify and Pandora and SoundCloud and all the rest of them are pushing to you automatically, continuously. So even if you are at the gym and you have your phone in your pocket and you're listening to SoundCloud, for example, well, in the background, there is continuous ads that are coming in that are playing for you. Even though you're not seeing them, those videos are being downloaded to your phone. So it is a lot of data. Now, if you're out and about, it really doesn't make too much of a difference because you're using the data plan that's on your phone or your mobile device. But when you're in the house on Wi-Fi, for example, all of that data is now being used by Starlink. So the solution here is to do something that I absolutely dread, and I always tell you guys not to do. The solution would be is to actually cough up the money for the monthly subscription for, once again, Spotify or Pandora, SoundCloud, or whatever. Cough up that money for the subscription, $7, $10, whatever, because this will allow you to listen to music all day long. It doesn't matter if you're out and about or if you're in your home or your home office where you do have Starlink, you're going to use a lot less data because there's going to be no advertising that is being downloaded in the background. The second thing that you can do here is possibly go back to an iPod. Some people are like, what the hell is an iPod? An iPod was something that we used way back in the day to download our music to and then listen to it when we were offline. So an iPod could have 100 or maybe 1,000 or even 5,000 songs on it, and you can listen to all of them all day long, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and it costs you no data besides the data it costs to download it onto the device to begin with. So if you are, for example, at the gym, you don't even have to worry about using your data on your phone because it's not going to cost any data. So for me, the gym that I go to has absolutely horrible signal. So I have to either get on the gym's Wi-Fi or use an iPod and listen to my music that way. Now, the next thing is social media platforms. These things use a ton of data. And people are like, why? I'm just texting my friends. I'm just communicating with them, writing little comments here and there. Yeah. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube Shorts, TikTok. These things are all video-centric these days. It's not like back in the day where it was a message form where you're just writing to people. Everything has to do with video. And video, once again, takes up a ton of data. It bleeds data continuously. Remember also, we are in an era of instant gratification. Right, guys? Instant gratification. Swipe, watch, swipe, watch. Swipe, watch, rinse, repeat, swipe, watch, right? So they're 15 seconds, 1 minute, these videos continuously, nonstop, a barrage. Well, it's kind of the nature of the beast. That's where we are today. But people do not have an attention span anymore. They want this data fed to them that quickly, these videos. I mean, a perfect example, hell, for me, sometimes I'll do a video that's 15 minutes long and I'll get a guy be like, can you just get to the point faster? And of course, I will respond to him with my affiliate Adderall link and say, maybe this stuff will help you with your attention deficit disorder. So the solution here is one thing that you can do is turn off autoplay. This is something that you can find, for example, on YouTube. YouTube is notorious for this. You go and watch something on YouTube, and then you go and grab yourself a sandwich. You come back, the video that you're watching is over, but now 2 other videos have already played and you weren't even there. So now you're watching maybe 4K videos. You're not even actually seeing them, and it's downloading and playing them and downloading and playing them. Shut this off, all right? If possible, shut it off. Also, if possible, use these type of applications during off-peak hours. That's 11 p.m. through 7 a.m. Not everyone can do this, but if you can, do that swipe, watch, rinse, repeat, swipe, watch, rinse, repeat. Try to do that during off-peak hours. Once again, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, TikToks, whatever. You don't want to bleed all of that data out of that 1 terabyte of priority data that Starlink has afforded you. Lended you? Made you pay for? Something like that. The next thing is Wi-Fi devices. Wi-Fi devices on your network are notorious for just chewing up your data. That means PCs, Macs, laptops, iPhones, Androids, tablets, even TVs. If they're plugged in, and they have a Wi-Fi connection to it or an Ethernet connection to it, they are sucking your data. And you just don't even realize it. There could be updates happening in the background. There could be downloads of all kinds of ad spots or movies or whatever, right? This happens all the time. Now, the solution here is go to every single one of these devices that are connected to your Wi-Fi or your Ethernet to your Starlink and take off auto updates. That's number one. auto updates have to be taken off because that uses a major chunk of data. Some of these updates are a gigabyte, some of them are multiple gigabytes. The other thing that you could do if you don't just turn off those updates, if you can schedule them, then do so. Schedule those updates for that specific device during the off-peak time. So once again, between 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. Now, a perfect example is with your iPhone. If you go to your iPhone, you go to Settings and then go to App Store, go to Turn Off Automatic Downloads. This means that all of your apps will no longer automatically download when there's a new one out there. You don't want that to happen. You want to tell it when to do it. And once again, that's off-peak time is when you want that to happen. Also on the iPhone, you can go to Settings and then General and then Software Update, then Automatic Update. And then under there, you want to turn off Download iOS Updates and turn off Install iOS Updates. Meaning that when the update is available for the phone, you are now in charge of downloading it whenever the hell you feel like it. And of course, that is going to be between 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. So you want to do this for every device that's on your network. I know it is time consuming, but trust me, it's going to save you a lot of data bleed. And God knows there's a lot of it. I'm going to get into how to tell how much data you're bleeding in just a minute. Now, the next thing, I guess, second to last thing would be video streaming. Now, video streaming services just suck a ton of data. As we've been talking about, and as you're hearing, video, it takes a lot. Now, video streaming, it doesn't matter what the network is. It could be Netflix, it could be Hulu, Disney Plus, Amazon Prime, YouTube TV, YouTube in general. It doesn't matter. They are one of the biggest culprits, not the biggest, but one of the biggest culprits when it comes to that drain of data, that bleeding of data. So the solution here is instead of streaming 4K, try streaming 1080p. If you can get away with not streaming 1080p and streaming 720p, more the merrier. You're going to end up with a massive reduction in the amount of data usage. And some of the TVs out there, 720 looks really damn good. Whereas other ones that are really big, like 85-inch and larger, well, 1080p is probably going to be minimum. You might have to go to 4K if you really want a good picture. But even if that is the case, and we know that 4K, for example, uses a ton of data, and some people are going to be like, Joe, how much data? Well, I'm glad you asked me. If you download a 4K movie, for example, some of the movies are about 30 gigabytes, while others are all the way up to about 100 gigabytes for a single movie. Now, that has a lot to do with the duration of the movie, but also audio. Some people don't understand this, but when you get surround sound, some of the audio is really massive. All right. So bear that in mind, anywhere from 30 gigabytes all the way up to 100 gigabytes. Now, remember, we are only provided with 1 terabyte, which is 1,000 gigabytes of data per month of priority speed data from Starlink. That means if you watch a movie, a massive movie, one movie will deplete your allotment by 10%. It's crazy, right? Some people are like, oh yeah, no problem. Just watch as many 4K movies as you want. No, it really depends on the movie. Like I said, audio and surround sound sometimes make these movies massive, and also the quality of the movie is a major factor. So we don't want to lose 1/10 of our data just by watching a single movie. The second solution here is to download those movies or even a series in the background during off-peak hours. So for example, if you wanted to watch a few 4K movies over the weekend, maybe an entire Netflix series, well, that's okay. During the week, between the hours of 11 p.m. and 7 a.m., set it up to download those movies or those series in the background while you're sleeping. All right. And they're there waiting for you. A lot of the devices have these DVR type of setups built into them today. Make use of them. It is very, very important because once again, these are massive files. Anything that you could download during off-peak and then watch later will benefit that data bleed, like I said before. Now, the biggest culprit out there is online gaming. Now, that could be gaming on a console, it could be gaming on a PC or a Mac. It doesn't make a difference. These games are absolutely massive. People don't understand this, but even when you buy a retail game, I don't care if it's Forza or Call of Duty or whatever it is, when you buy that retail game and you put it into your console or into your PC, it has to download an update. And these updates are massive. How massive? Well, I'm glad you asked. I looked up some of these high-profile games just to see how large are they. Forza Horizon 5, for example. That game is 110 gigabytes. 1/10 of your allotment for that one game. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. How much? 125 gigabytes. Over 1/10 of your data usage for that one game. You have God of War Ragnarok, that's between 80 to 100 gigabytes. And then you have Rainbow Six Extraction, that is about 85 gigabytes. All of these games are about 1/10 of your data usage. If you downloaded all 4 of these games, you would literally have wiped out about 50% of your data usage, priority data usage for the entire month. So these things are absolutely massive. 4K videos, 4K TV, and games. Huge, massive. Now, what exactly is the solution here, right? What is the solution? Well, download during off-peak time. And this is what we were saying about the movies also. You can set up your device to do this. A perfect example is with our Xbox here, our family Xbox. If you go to your Xbox and then go to settings and then go to sleep mode and startup, right there, you can turn off the ability to download in the background. You do not want the game console or your computer to download in the background. That is the whole thing. You want to tell it when you are ready for it to download. And that would be obviously at night. Now on the PlayStation, it's very similar. If you go to settings menu and then you go to system and then automatic downloads, uncheck everything. You don't want it to do any of that automatic downloading. Doesn't matter if it's the Xbox or the PlayStation, there is availability in there to turn this off, turn it off. Another thing is Steam. Some of the folks that are out there have talked about Steam and they use Steam for their games, which is great. I use Steam for my games. The thing is, Steam downloads in the background all the time the latest and greatest games that you currently have installed. So if you have 20 games installed and a couple of them every day are updated, well, guess what? Steam is going to update those games continuously. Doesn't matter if it's off peak time, during peak time, it doesn't care. So if you go into Steam and then head over to Steam, then down to settings, downloads, download restrictions, and then go to only update games between, and now you can set it. This is friggin' cool. I wish Xbox was like this, and I wish the PlayStation was like this. You can set a time. So we know off-peak time is between 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. So what I do is I set up Steam to download between 12 a.m. and 6 a.m. Why is that? Well, some of these games might take an hour to download. So by setting it between 12 and 6 a.m., it gives that hour leeway. So if it is downloading at 6 a.m., it has an entire hour to do so. That's what I do. Now, last but not least, if you made it to the end of this, congratulations. I know it was long. Some of you guys did use my affiliate link and got some Adderall and was able to focus with me. And I appreciate that. The two things that I would have to say that all Starlink customers should have is number one, a managed switch. A managed switch is so mission critical because it gives you the ability to create VLANs. It gives you the ability to track your data. Some people out there have told me that they have been tracking their data with a managed switch and have found that Starlink is telling them that they're using data during peak time when they're actually using it during off-peak time. So having these records is very important because maybe you don't want to trust the man and you just want to find out for yourself. So having a managed switch is very, very important for this. Also, you can use QoS, which is quality of service. What does this mean? This means that you can say, all right, everyone on this VLAN gets a maximum of 2 megs down and 2 megs up. That's it. Maybe it's for friends and family that stop by and they're on a certain Wi-Fi network. That's it. They can't just destroy your network, right? They can't use all of your data. Or you could create different service provisioning for different times of day. So maybe during peak times, things are going a little bit slower for everyone in the house, so to speak. Whereas during off-peak, it's full throttle. You can set things up like that. Also, if you have a home office, for example, and you need full maximum speed at all times, you could give your LAN, your VLAN, maximum speed all the time, whereas everyone else gets a little bit slower speed. So it gives you priority over that data. The next thing I think is very, very important. It doesn't matter if you're a Starlink user or maybe you're using Dish Network or you're using DirecTV. Down here in South Florida, we have a problem with hurricanes, right? And we want to be able to stay abreast with emergency service. We want to watch TV. We want to see what's going on. Now, if you are a Starlink user, when the weather pulls in, doesn't matter if it's a hurricane or just a really bad storm, Starlink is notorious for rain fade and your system just goes down. And you have no TV because most likely you're using IPTV and you cut the cord. But even if you didn't and you're using Dish Network or DirecTV, they're very susceptible to rain fade also. And as soon as a storm rolls through, what happens? No more TV. So I picked up a couple of these things. Check these out. You see these? One is an antenna. This is a really flat antenna. It does a pretty good job. This one is a thicker antenna powered. And I've been using these for a long time. I just pulled the boxes out of the garage. And people are like, well, why would you use this? All right. Well, these things give me HD video, HD TV for free, even during severe weather. Like this one has a radius of, 55 to 65 miles. I have network TV or local programming about 25 to 30 miles away from me. So when I set these things up, I get all these channels. I get NBC, ABC, CBS, PBS. I get all of the weather channels. I get about 50, I think. I get a ton of TV. And a lot of this TV is 4K, and this thing supports 8K eventually. So 4K TV for free during severe weather, 50 channels, is amazing for me, because it allows us to keep abreast to what's going on with the news. So let's say there's tornadoes going through or whatever it is, we want to watch what's going on. If you don't have data, you don't have TV if you're on IPTV. Also, if you're on Dish Network or DirecTV or whatever, rain fade is going to cause you not to have TV also. So having something like this, for me, is mission critical. Because once again, it is free. And in case of an emergency, I know we're going to be able to have TV as long as we have electric. It is awesome to me. So that's something that you can take a look at. I'm going to put links to this as well as the manage switch that I use in the description below. Now, I hope you have found some value in this video. I put a lot of time into putting it together. If you just want to say thank you for all of the time that I put into these videos and the other 800, YouTube gave us this little button down here. It says thanks. You can click on that, or even better, just become a member of the channel. That would be awesome. And if you enjoyed this, even in the least, like I said before, throw the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Click this little button so when I go live, you will be notified of it. Or when a new video comes out, you will also be notified of it. And don't forget to pick up my ebooks. They are 100% free just for you being here. Go to JCristina.com/books. And if you want more Starlink coverage, check out my Starlink playlist. I think there's about 90 plus videos of helpful how-tos, tips, tricks, commentary, what to buy, what not to buy, why not or to buy it. There's a lot of good information over there. Check out that Starlink playlist. And finally, head over to my website, JCristina.com, where you can find all the photography tools I've invented for you and me over the years, and hopefully there's something there that you might like. And if there is, please pick it up and support me and my family. That's it. I'm out of here for another vlog. Many blessings to you and your family. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you in the next one. Love you all.